We are live. Let's see what's going on. See if anybody shows up. If not, I don't care. It is a hot one today, folks. Jason Perry, Big Rich, Gotti. Is today Father's Day? I didn't know that. Jim Jarena, Jonathan Houston, Harold Huffman, Sean Price, what's up? CPAP. Oh, did I step on you? I didn't realize you were still going there, CPAP. Mr. Berger, Sean Haggerty, Brent. Did you get an email? No. I didn't think I would. You know, Harold, I was kind of glad because I looked at the mapping of that load and I didn't want to do it. So, Jonathan Wheeler, Steve Mitchell. Well, gee, Steve, why didn't you want to do it? Because I'm picky that way. Bull Tinker Jerry, what's up? Michael P. Thanks for the day's wishes. I appreciate that. I tend to, I don't know. Break time, Mr. Roscoe. What are you taking a break from? You're off. So I'm here in Olney, Illinois. It's freaking hot. Yeah, I saw Steve's sorry, Burger. I saw Steve's truck where I was picking up at Navarre. He didn't even stop and say hi, even though he saw my truck. Can you believe that? And he wonders why I don't buy him any ramen. One beer and a smoke, and I gotta get. Where are you going? Are you going back to work? No, he doesn't have pink polka dots on his truck. Yeah, that insane color of Burger's truck, you could spot it a mile away. That purple, blue, whatever it is. It's like a bluish, purplish, pinkish hue. Almost like it almost looks like if a gender fluid person vomited. That's the color of Steve Burger's truck. So the truth is out there. The truth is out there. Bandit, what's up? It's Roy G. Biv. Huh? I don't get that. It's above my intellectual power. So. Oh, what do you guys got going on? It is hot in this truck, despite the APU's efforts. I've been watching this videos trying to figure out the color. I almost thought it was painted like Care Bear cars. Well, I'll give everybody a hint. It's one of these colors of these probiotic gummy bears. What colors are in here? You got purple, you got red, you got like a light red. Maybe that's the color. That's the color of Burger's truck. AJ Casely, what's up? From the original motherland. Oh, okay, Roy G. Bibb. Oh, I see. Talk some trucker, or some father stores. Wasn't your dad a trucker? Yes, he was. I was a military brat, so I've was born in California, lived in Hawaii, then we ended up in upstate New York. You want to talk about a culture shock? And from there, that's when he left the military. We went to Phoenix, Arizona. He had a drinking buddy that, my dad had driven trucks in the military, and my dad had a drinking buddy that had a truck abandoned on him, so he paid my dad to fly out there and go get the truck. And he said, you ought to consider that work. And my dad was always dealing with layoffs and job situations after he left the military, so he just kind of took the trucking naturally and became a truck driver. For the first 2 years, I didn't see him that much, and then when he got his own truck, he drove his last truck he owned was a Peterbilt 362 cab over with the triple windshield wipers and a stainless steel reefer trailer. It was a nice truck, and back then it was one of the first trucks to have air ride seats, air ride shocks, double wide sleeper. I mean, it was a nice truck. And Jim, we lived up there by Freeville, Ithaca area, somewhere around there. Dryden, Groton was the two towns that we lived in. Anyways, from that point on, I used to go with him every summer, and of course I was hooked. Of course, I was always in the trucks before my dad became a truck driver. So when he became a truck driver, he was even that much better. And I wish I had pictures of that truck, Harold. Man, it was it was nice. And we ended up moving to Missouri, and he gave up the owner-operator gig because he drove for a small outfit out of Phoenix called Scarborough. I don't know if they're still around. And became a company driver and did the same job he worked for the same company for quite a while. And then about a year before he passed away, he got out of the truck and tried to do the non-trucking life, and he became a forklift operator for a big box store, and then he passed away. So Binghamton. Yeah, Jim, I'm not too familiar with upstate New York. I still got a sister that lives up there, and I know she works for the Syracuse University or whatever it is. So Sergeant Ringo, what's up? So how many years total did you say you drove? I don't know, let's see. 83 to, 2000, at least year 2000, so not long. His last truck, I've got a picture of it on my Facebook. His last truck was a T600. It was before the T600s had the swoop on the roof, like it was a flat top, but it had the fairing on top. It wasn't a stand-up sleeper. That was for a company called Aaron's Automotive, which went out of business. And the last several years of his job, he had a good gig. A company gig that if I had, I probably never would have became an owner operator. But he did drop and hook from Missouri to usually Florida or Georgia, and then came back. He left out Monday, was home Thursday, made good coin, and had every weekend off, and it was all drop and hook private carrier. So see you get out of trucking, you fall apart. Nah, trucking's kind of a love-hate relationship. When I first started, it still is a love-hate relationship. It always was with my dad. My dad was good at it. He was a good driver, and he loved the traveling, but he hated being away from home. And that's usually the eternal struggle. So I think that we're all trying to find that balance of money and home time. And being an owner-operator, that's a little bit more difficult to do. Well, as a company driver, that could be difficult as well, but these days, there's a lot more companies that you can work Monday through Friday. Like, there's a trucking company I passed coming through here. Their lot was full. If you go by Transland, there in Stratford, Missouri, their lot's full on the weekends. A lot of their guys get home. And so it's a lot easier. And I think my dad would have even though he was old school, I think he would embrace the tools that we use, like the internet and the Google Maps and the GPS. I think he would have embraced that, because his last several years, he was into computers. It was really weird. I went from showing him how to use a CD player to him building a computer for me, like within a span of 2 years. Harold says, not for me. I'm head over heels per trucking. I might be a junkie. I get high from it. Right, and what's funny, Harold, is that my dad took 2 weeks off vacation, and I'm not sure why. I think it was something to do with the job he was doing at the time. And he was ready to, go back on the road. So I think that he loved trucking more than he ever put on. And I think a lot of it was an act, because he didn't want me to follow in his footsteps, because he thought that I could do better for myself. So there was a self-esteem issue when it comes to trucking, and I take a little bit of sense of pride, or try to. So everyone reflecting on the work-life balance, some looking at, can they go hard and get the boat debt-free? Then that doesn't even make sense to Benjamin. No, CPAP, he's been gone for 2003. He doesn't even know I drive. I mean, if you believe in the higher power and everything, but I became a truck driver like many years after he passed away, per his wishes. He didn't want me to become a truck driver. But I think that if he would have seen how I've embraced it and how I've managed to avoid the pitfalls that he had, then I think that he probably would have encouraged me to do it. And what's interesting is my dad, there was a time where I was up in Connecticut with family, and I was having a miserable time. And my dad was desperately trying to get to Connecticut to pick me up, because what happened was I got on the truck. We lived in Phoenix. I got on the truck, rode with him, went up to Connecticut to stay with family while him and my mom drove for a little bit, and then he was going to come back. Well, he was under a load of watermelons, and this is precisely why I don't do watermelons and why I don't do produce. He was at the customer, sitting there idling, burning reefer fuel to keep these watermelons at a certain temp, and they would not unload them. They would wait. Oh, you just sit there and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And and what you guys don't realize is before e-logs, before the 14-hour rule, shippers were notorious for, you're just storage out there. Okay? A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people don't realize that the hours of service were created by the Teamsters to keep us from getting screwed by the customers. Okay? So my dad went into the customer and he said, you've got two choices. He'd had enough. And he goes, you can either give me a dock and unload these watermelons, or I will start unloading them myself. Well, sir, you need to calm down. You need to go back to your truck. Okay, you've got 1 hour. He gave him 1 hour. Exactly 1 hour later, he opens the doors and he starts throwing watermelons out the back of the door. Just picking one up, just toss them. They come out, they're like threatening to call the cops, and he's like, you need to give me a door now. I have to go. So he backed up, they got him a door, and they got him unloaded, and he was out. And what's interesting is this morning, I'm checking into the Place and Only, which if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And this guy in line in front of me, we're sitting there waiting for the clerk to do her thing, you know. He's like, man, I hope these watermelons go a lot better than the last watermelon load I had. I said, what happened? He told me about how long of a wait he had, and they rejected half of them because they had mold, they were missized, and all this other stuff, right? And I just kind of shook my head, and I think of that story of my dad. And so to this day, I don't, you know, Harold's always like, you know, hey, what, you should put vents in that trailer. And I'm like, I have no desire to put vents in this trailer because I have no desire to do watermelon. I have no desire to do pumpkins. I have no desire to do plant loads. And that's why I never, ever went into the reefer business. That's why I never, you know, considered buying a reefer trailer. That's why I never, like, worked for a reefer company, because I did not want to deal with that stuff. Ben started to drive the mud. Well, you know, I try not to load muddy things in my truck, although it has happened. You know, that load of scrap cardboard that was left outside that I loaded in Alabama, or no, that went to Alabama, loaded in Florida, you know, that could have been a bad deal. Brake rotors need vents. I'll eventually put vents in the trailer, you know. But today guys looking at paying off the bulk debt like house, cutting back on spending, then sell or dump the trucking gig and find a local job to be home. That's true. I don't think I could ever be local. I do like the, you know, you have to find a balance. There's a lot of people out here that hate truck driving, that are truck drivers. And I think they're the ones that make it miserable for us. However, sometimes circumstances are what create that. In other words, if you work for a crappy company, if you're never home when you need to be, if you're always like waiting for loads or waiting for dispatch or not making enough money, then all the BS that comes with trucking gets magnified. And there's a lot of good drivers that I know that have left the industry because of crap that was out of their control. And so my goal was to put myself in a situation where I have as much control as possible. That's why I won't work for, you know, just thinking about being dispatched by somebody who has no clue about your business, just it stresses me out just to hear about it, you know. The e-log thing would definitely, or was definitely a lot more stressful when I had a dispatcher, because, you know, while in some cases the e-log saved you from some driving because you just legally couldn't do it, but in other cases it created a situation where you sat or you had to do overnight running. So, but there you go. There's a memory of my dad. He was a truck driver, and he was proud. You know, the picture I have of him, you know, he had just washed and waxed his truck. He's sitting there with his cowboy hat, you know, and his boots and everything. He was old school, man. He was. So, but every now and then, you know, I kind of wonder if he's going to be, you know, if he'd be proud of me or whatever. But, you know, just like the automotive industry, I was a master tech, but watched all the morons doing easy work make more than me. 15-hour a week, paychecks don't pay the bills, right? James, I'm in Olney, Illinois. You should have pick airbrush. Okay. So the reason why I'm sitting here in Olney is because the customer in Navarre, Ohio, decided that it would be awesome to make the product as they were loading my trailer. So therefore I was there a little bit longer than I needed to be, or I should have been, and therefore I had to do an 8-2 split and to make this work, to make it on time. Because if you guys know where I'm at, or where I was this morning, you guys know that they don't take kindly to being late, and you could potentially lose a couple of days if they have to reschedule. And I did not want that. So with the 8-2 split, kind of killed my hours, and there's really not much. I emailed a couple of brokers on the loads, but they're not answering because no one likes to work on Sundays. Burger says I had no such problems at that customer. You know why? Because Big Orange dropping hooks there. But I know I've booked a couple of Navarre loads for the Big Orange, and they were canceled or pushed back a couple of days because they didn't have the product. So that does happen. It's just that, you know, you can recover pretty easily. No, I don't want to keep it up, Mr. Roscoe. Make me. You have to pay me. Meet me at the Petro in Effingham, Father's Day dinner. I don't have any hours, James. Let me look. Let me look. I knocked it over. Man, I got plenty of drive time, just no 14-hour time. That's nice of you, James, but I know Effingham's a little bit further away than I have hours for. All right, Roscoe, since you paid me, I'll keep it up. Oops, my E-log broke. We don't play that game. Now, I could use personal conveyance and go up there, but, you know, I have this thought process when it comes to personal conveyance. I don't use it unless I absolutely have no other options. Because let's say that I use personal conveyance to go up to Petro to meet up with my very good friend to have a Father's Day dinner at Petro there in Effingham, right? And let's say the next load I pick up is in Effingham or St. Louis or somewhere north on 57 like Champaign. Guess what? Now it looks like I use personal conveyance to further myself in my dispatch. So it would look bad if I got DOT'd. And that's the last thing that I want to have. I don't want to be the first guy to, you know, screw things up here at Like Trucking. So I could have PC'd from the place that I delivered to this truck stop, but I didn't. But I appreciate it, James. I'm sure that Petro in Effingham is a lot better place than this place. I walked in and they had just cleaned the bathrooms, but it was like, I don't know, about 120 degrees in there. Yeah, the rules did just change. That's true. However, you know, they're going to look, wow, you're at a perfectly good truck stop. And then he went to Effingham, and oh, wow, looks like he picked up a load in Effingham. So, but see, Mr. DeJong, he lives in Springfield, so we can always hang out. We're back.
The pay is great.
We are back. We are back. Yep. What the hell was that? That was me on my other phone. Doomy Tunes. Yeah, you guys figured out my alter ego there. So it's me incognito. As long as you show 10 hours off, you're good. That's true, Bandit. I just, like I said, the reason why I'm staying here, I could have gone to Effingham. In fact, that was originally what I was going to do. But Olney is a central point. We're within 100 miles or 110, 120 or 140 miles from St. Louis. Here's the markets I got. I got St. Louis, I got Effingham, I've got Indianapolis, and I've got Evansville. If I go up to 70, Evansville becomes a further stretch. And so this is a good point and good spot, and I've got a good signal. Exit. Power off. Well, that didn't work. If you live on what ifs, then that sucks for you. What do you mean, what ifs? Get a load to the Keystone. I could, Burger. If you live on what ifs, then that sucks for you. What do you mean on like the personal conveyance? What ifs? No. You'll put me to work, Lord of Snore. Well, Burger, like I said, so I just thought I'd go live, step on CPAP's toes, and no, I'm just kidding, CPAP. But I didn't go live last night because I didn't have a good enough signal. And I really don't have much to talk about. CPAP was live. It's not living on what ifs, it's about being smart and not an idiot, says Harold. There's no reason to put yourself in a potential bad situation for no damn good reason. Yeah, I've been tempted to just go to a hotel because it's freaking hot. This APU is like, it's working, knock on wood. But as hot as it is, man, the sun's just bearing down. Now some clouds are rolling in. I was hoping it'd like cloud up and storm. But one time I needed a thunderstorm. So like last night, I was on the phone with Burger, right? Because Burger was parked. And he was just chit-chatting with me. And all of a sudden, now I'm light this time. Now the hailstorm video that I posted, I was heavy. So when the wind hit, it didn't faze me. Last night was a different situation. I ran into the storm, a little tiny, like on the radar, it was a little blip, but it was literally on top of the interstate. And man, I was on the phone, Burger, and I go, whoa, Burger, I gotta go, click. And I put the headset down. We're back. Anyways, that storm hit me, and we went from 65 to 45 within, like, just hit the brakes. Cars were off in the shoulder and on the right-hand lane, and it got hairy for a minute. And then I went got fuel and got a shower and went to bed. Now, that Doobie Tunes guy doesn't deserve a wrench. He's a butthead. I hate that guy. I hate Doobie Tunes. So, you know, I appreciate the Father's Day sentiments, but if you get on Facebook, I think everybody's kind of going overboard with it. To me, it's just kind of another day. You know, my family loves me, and they don't need a day to show me that. And, you know, it's, I don't know, it's kind of a bittersweet day for me, but you know. Yep, yeah, Burger did call to check on me. He was like, dude, you all right? I'm like, yeah. You know, and I meant to call him back to tell him I was okay, because it was literally like, so Steve was telling me about, you know, I think that trailer issue he was having. He was like, yeah, man, I was at the shop in Carlisle, and I'm like, Steve, we gotta go. Whoa. You know, then I clicked, you know, and then I hung up on him. So, but being out for Father's Day, I don't know, the money was good this weekend, so that's why I did it. Got a lot of expenses coming up, and it's time to make hay. And you know, the rates are amazing right now. There you go. Gerald just proved it. Ace Noro heading to Maine from San Diego, $3.15 a mile. Dude, how many miles is that, Gerald? I'd like to do the math on that one. Let's do the math on that one, Gerald. How many miles is that? I appreciate that, Dennis Smith. Okay, 3,100. Holy crap. Times, you said 315? Wow, that's $9,765. $9,765. So, all right. So let's do math. It's math time with Snower Lord. Okay, so 3,100 divided by, what kind of fuel mileage you get, Gerald? You got a hood or you got an Aero? You hate math? Well, we're going to make it easy. We're going to make it easy. Waiting for Gerald to answer the question. 7 miles per gallon. It's 579. Okay. So, divided by 7. 3,100 divided by 7. That's 442. Wait, that's not right. Yeah, divided by 7. That's 442 gallons of fuel. Is that right? That doesn't sound right. 442 times $3 a gallon average, because out to 13 to 26. So if you take 96 minus 13, this is just rough numbers, guys. $8,300. Are you leased on with somebody? Or are you getting 100? Are you getting 100% of that? I mean, you don't have to tell me the exact percentage, but even if you're making like Landstar numbers times 0.65, that's still $5,300 in your pocket. That's pretty good. You're always going live when I'm busy. Why can't you ever wait till I'm finished being busy? Well, Daniel and Dami, because I never go live. 80? Oh, psh. So that 96, we'll just round it down to 9,600 times 0.8, 7,680 minus, what was it, 1,400 in fuel, 1,400, So you're going to bring home $62.80. Divide that by 3,100. Still comes out to $2 a mile, roughly, to the truck after fuel. That's a good number, man. That's a good number. I'm envious. Third-party calculator app? No, just telephone. Telephone. Did I just use the word telephone? Yes. Show my age. It's kind of funny. You know, Jeff's always looking out for us, right? And he saw I was delivering in Olney Sunday. And so he calls this guy up at a certain broker that we have a good relationship with. And he's like, hey, there's a load going from somewhere in Illinois going back to Springfield, Missouri. I think I talked about this the other night. And I basically showed both of them, both Jeff and the broker guy, the mental process I use when I'm thinking about doing a certain load, and all the different factors that you got to take in when you're doing self-dispatch. And you know, hopefully I made a positive impression to Mr. Jeff there. You be able to broker out on this one? Yeah, see, that's where you got him. That's where you got him. You know, Big Rich did a really good video the other day about let the brokers come to you by posting your truck. And because if they're coming to you, that means they're desperate. You know, when I was at Landstar, if I had an agent call me, that means that he was desperate to move that load. Well, it meant one of two things. It was either he was desperate to move that load, or you want to take advantage of the new guy that wouldn't ask all the right questions. And that happened to me one time. I didn't ask all the right questions. I ended up kind of getting screwed on the load. Not because he didn't pay me or anything, but because there are a lot of factors that I didn't take in that took away the net. So, and that's what you got to consider. You know, Berger and I were talking about, you know, is you know, the Snyder guys, they get their tolls paid for in Pennsylvania. And that is a pretty good perk, because if you got a heavy load going from, say, New Stanton to Harrisburg, you're looking at probably 150 to 180 bucks. So in our world, in the spot market world, you gotta make sure that your cost per mile, or the rate per mile you're getting, is going to cover that. So if you're going to gross, say, $2,100 on a load, and you know you got $200 worth of tolls, then you know that you're only going to get $1,900. Does that make sense? You got to get that money out of the factor. And what a lot of guys don't realize when they enter this world, and the Landstar guys too, because tolls aren't paid, is that you have to factor that into the gross revenue. You know, you either have to add it past what they want, or the number you're satisfied with is below that extra amount. In other words, like I said, if you are happy with $1,900 on a load going to Harrisburg from, say, Columbus, then you better ask for 21, because you know you got those tolls coming out. Does that make sense? Or you could sit there and tell the broker, hey, can you add $200 worth of tolls for the tolls, and we'll call it good. You know, you can do it that way too. But most of the time you just got to ask for a high enough number, because if you got a load that goes from Columbus to Harrisburg paying the same amount as a load maybe going from Columbus to, say, Dallas, you know, it's the same amount of miles. Not Dallas, but say, Oklahoma City is about the same distance. You're going to net more on the Oklahoma load because there's less tolls that way. You're looking at $40 worth of tolls versus $160, $180 worth of tolls. And the terrain's different. Once you get, you know, from Columbus to St. Louis, you're on flat ground. And then you go through some hills in Missouri, but then once you get past Joplin, it's flat ground again. Next gen, yay math. Next gen. You know, Next gen's a YouTuber with the hood. There was some speculation that a certain person was first YouTuber to have a hood, which I think is funny. But we're not into the YouTube feuds. The only YouTuber I have a feud with is Pale Rider. I don't think he likes me. I missed out most of his live feed last night, but only because I was doing something more awesome. That was talking to my wife. That takes precedence over everything. But yeah, I have a feud with Pale Rider. He doesn't like me because I fit the description of drivers he doesn't like. Number one, I wear shorts. That's number one. Number two, I don't wear a cowboy hat. And number three, what's the third one? There's oh yeah, the beard. He doesn't like the beard. So he likes truck drivers to be clean shaven. So I don't fit any of those descriptions. So Pale Rider and I are the only ones I have a feud with. That may be CPAP. So, nah, we're just kidding. Gosh, don't be starting no YouTube drama, rumor stuff. Harold despises coffee. Yeah, I'm a pretty forgiving person, Harold. So that's why I still hang out with you. So. Who wants to see Pale Rider with a beard? Now, I wouldn't want to see Pale Rider in shorts. I imagine since he's always wore pants in his entire life, that he's probably got he's probably got this shade of that's probably why they call him Pale Rider. Oh, we just put it together. That's why they call him Pale Rider. Oh man, you ever just have that aha like moment? Oh my gosh, that's it. That is why they call him the Pale Rider. He never wears shorts because they would truly call him the Pale Rider. Man. Pale Rider, you know I'm just jazzing with you. I'm just jazzing with him. What's that even mean, jazzing? That's stupid. I'm just messing with him. You finally figured it out. But I don't, well, let's say I've been known to put, coffee creamer in my coffee at times. And I know that would annoy Pale Rider. But I'll tell you what, there's a video on Pale Rider's channel, I believe, where he and I and Ponzi Zombie Killer were hanging out at the Rockwall TA. Ponzi had his cowboy hat and his boots and his jeans, and Pale Rider had his boots and jeans on, and those guys were sweating up a storm as we were standing outside like goofballs in the middle of June at Rockwall, Texas. In fact, Pale Rider made the joke that the boots were melting to the pavement. And here I was in my shorts, all happy. Oh, heavens to Betsy. What about that, Harold? What are you talking about? That moment when the light bulb goes on over your head. Yeah, so we're just messing around. We're just messing around. Now, I am the genius that will sit here in a hot truck without the AP running, with the windows open, letting all the flies come in, do their thing, and sit there, gripe about the heat while drinking a hot cup of coffee. I am that guy. So. You put creamer in your coffee? I used to. Every now and then I do, as a treat. But for the most part, if the coffee's good, doesn't need creamer. That's the thing. If I get some crappy coffee from one of these rundown places that the coffee maker has been clean since, I don't know, 2006, and you got the guy behind the counter that looks like he could be suicidal and homicidal at the same time because he is just miserable with his existence, then I might decide to put creamer in the coffee. Like Petro. Yeah, cold coffee, it's good to have creamer. I had coffee that needed a bag of sugar. At that point, you're just like, oh, caffeine, I guess, dump, because it's so bad. But then, like, halfway through that cup, you're like, why did I do this? And you toss it. So, I say I probably drink my coffee black 95% of the time. So, Pale Rider doesn't need to disown me. If he hasn't disowned me because I have a beard and wear shorts, then he's not going to disown me over coffee. And I like broccoli. He hates, despises broccoli. In fact, Pale Rider, you want to hang out? We got broccoli right here, bud. Right here. Frozen. Welcome to Mini Mart. That's funny. So, man, there's just no good spot for the CPAP machine. I drink community coffee with what in it? Chicory? Best way to cook broccoli, open the trash can and throw it in. See, Harold, you don't like coffee, but you don't like broccoli either, so Pale Rider will like you for that. But Pale Rider and I are on the same team because we both drive Kenworths. So that makes us awesome, right, Mr. Pale Rider? Speaking of coffee, I have a little bit left. Us Kenworth guys gotta stick together. He's fine in my book because he likes Popeyes. Yeah, Popeyes is pretty good. It was funny when Harold and I were hanging out in the TA, you got your options. You had Dunkin' Donuts, you had Sbarro's, and you had Popeyes. And I think I was idiotic enough to ask him which one he wanted to do. He threw my green reject in the trash bin. I threw my green reject in the trash bin. Charleston, South Carolina, next gen. Awesome. Sbarro used to be good. Like back in the 80s, man, like at the mall, Sbarro was awesome. Like it was like $5, but you got this massive like quarter size pizza that was just like awesome, right? And now the last time I had Sbarro's was actually at the Maristar Casino, and it sucked. It was lame. It was bad. You used to have a green T680? Hey, I didn't buy your old truck, did I? Sbarro in the Service Plaza, $4 a breadstick. Yeah, screw that. Or unless you're going to the New York Thruway, then it's like $18. Nope. Okay, good. That means you would have had to driven for Prime. Actually, the last person that owned this truck was a female with the dog. I know that for a fact because I stereotyped the gender by looking at the name on the title slip and the little scratches and dog fur in the window crevice that you can't get to kind of gives that one away. New York Thruway is where I'm heading tonight. Gonna get me some DD. What's DD? J.R. Schugel. They got nice trucks over at GR Sugel. Them and Hurricane, they got nice trucks. I mean, I don't know anything about their companies, but they definitely have like top-notch trucks. Like Hurricane, man, they got like chromed out stuff, multiple lights. There was a Hurricane truck parked last night where I was at. Looked kind of cool sitting there at night. It's a 579 too. Next Gen used to drive a 579. When I met him, he was driving one of them. But he's got a hood now. He's a YouTuber with a hood. That's going to be a trend, I think. Long haul trucking does company trucks, right? Yes, Harold. For those of you, if you've ever run in Oklahoma and Kansas, you'll see this. Oh, no, that's the flatbed company. I'm thinking of. There's a tank company that has really nice, like, decked out Pete's. But yeah, long haul does deck out their trucks as well. I just bought $400 worth of lights. This Freightliner is going to be bright. Freightliner. Awesome. I'm driving ex-Hurricane truck. Cool. First class. Is that the tank company you're thinking of, Harold? I think it's something like that. Then there's Miller. And you know, and I talked to one of the guys, I think it's Miller. Those are company trucks. I've heard of companies like I talked to a guy several years ago that the company he works for, what they do is once they hire you on, it's really hard to get on. Once they hired you on, though, you picked your truck, and then you were able to pick all the chrome accessories that you wanted on that truck. In other words, they let you spec it out. And then that was your truck. You didn't slip seat. You didn't get a loaner if it broke down. That was your truck. And it was a company truck, but you treat it like your own, you know. And they had wash allowances, and they wanted their trucks to look immaculate. You know, kind of like TMC. TMC, they don't have them anymore, but they used to have black hooded 379s or 379s, and like the trucks had to be immaculate at all times. You never saw a dog on their bunch. Yeah, burgundy and white. Yep. Western out of Colorado is that way. The blue large cars with reefers. The college socialist will flag you. How would you feel if it was genetic male that identify as a female dog? We won't even get into that. It was just a joke. You gotta be careful though with names, you know. I had a cousin, her name was Bobby. She was a she. Ray David, what's up? They still sell them 379, 389 extended hoods. Harold is going. Oh, Harold just made a big announcement. He is going to have a hood soon. Harold, there's a really good-looking green W9 sitting at MHC Kenworth right now in Springfield, Missouri. I think it's got your name on it, dude. So, wow, we've been at almost an hour already. Gosh, I've never dreamed that I could just ramble on for an hour and talk about absolutely nothing. You gotta give it up to Harold, man. He was at Iowa 80. He didn't buy a single thing, even though he was there for like 4 days or something like that. I have to commend him on that. Of course, I'm always in Joplin. I don't mind anything there. I have a color scheme in mind, not letting it out. Whatever. That truck is literally sitting there with your name on it. Besides, what's wrong with green trucks? Green trucks rule. I did buy the movie Duel. So this is a corny joke, right? So I was at the TA somewhere in Oregon. Yes, I used to be up there once. And I was having to do a 34, I believe. Because, that's just what you do, I guess. And I bought the movie Duel, and I bought Maximum Overdrive. And the cashier, she's checking this stuff out, and she goes, and I go, hey, is it wrong for a truck driver to buy movies about trucks hurting people? If looks could kill, I would have been dead on the spot. It was a bad joke, but hey, I'm really good at doing stuff badly, if that makes sense. We got 3 more minutes and I'm cutting off this live feed. Now you know how Roscoe does his marathons. Should I annoy Roscoe and take this video down? Do you think truck stop safety is better in Canada? No truckers in Canada get more respect, in my opinion. Critical lows, northern communities. I don't know anything about Canada. My only experience, Ray David, with Canada is that when I was a kid, I believe I was about 8 years old, we took a trip to Niagara Falls. That is my only experience with Canada. Tasteful joke? I think it was a tasteless joke. Benjamin, because it's not always just a business, the higher fuel cost is my hobby money. I don't spend on hobbies because this is my only hobby. It's my Harley money or bass boat money. We're talking about the everlasting eternal struggle of miles per gallon versus looks. Maximum Overdrive was awesome, says Gerald. Sometimes I think my truck is possessed. LOL. I love that movie. Yeah. It's cool to see the old school trucks. Now, here's a little bit of trivia that is completely useless in your world, but it exists. There was a movie that came out right before Maximum Overdrive. It was called Trucks. And it was the same concept, that all the machines came to life and trapped these people in a truck stop. It was I bought that. It was one of those, like, if you go to the TA Petro, it was like one of those 3 for 99 cent movie, movie bin. It's one of those, right? 3 for $1 or something like that. I'm just thinking of some of the cheesy movies I bought in that little bin. And this movie was so horribly done. And then I guess Maximum Overdrive just came and just kind of redid the story to their liking, with Stephen King, And yeah, it was so horrible. Even I got rid of the movie, even though I was like, this is so horrible. That and this movie about a guy that fed his girlfriends to cats. Like, he had this castle full of cats, like little house cats, right? And they were all feral in this dungeon. And he was a rich dude, and he would wine and dine these hot model babes, right? And then when he was done with them, he would throw them in the pit of cats. That's an actual movie. I'm cracking up just thinking about that. So that's the kind of quality entertainment you get with those 3 for $2 bin things at the TA Petro. Live it up while you're living. The day I retire is the day I throw dirt on my box. You can't throw dirt on your own box. Oh, they throw dirt. Okay, yeah. The short story by Stephen King that Max Overdrive was based off of. Yeah, someone else made a movie based off that story first, and it was horrible. And, there's a reason why I didn't go anywhere. I mean, if Maximum Overdrive is kind of a B movie level anyways, but this was like a D level. I mean, it was so bad, I couldn't even finish it. It was that bad. At least he had a couple interesting characters in Maximum Overdrive, and you know, it was pretty cool. You gotta watch out for them soda machines. That's what that movie taught me. Soda machines and little Jeeps with machine guns. Stephen King wrote Trucks. Well, it didn't go to the story. It didn't go to film very well until they did Maximum Overdrive. So Gerald knows a little bit more trivia than I do, which is pretty cool. Alright guys, we're going to get off here. Thanks for watching. This is my Saturday night version, the Sunday-ish edition. Stay cool out there. Watch your tire pressures. There's a lot of people with RVs and travel trailers that those things sit all year, and all of a sudden they expose them to 150-degree road heat. Then they blow tires, and they're always on the side of the road. Have you ever seen the Ron Howard movie Return to Macon County or something? It was about a hot rod Camaro, but it was just all fast forwarding to look like driving fast. No, I've never seen that. That reminds me of the movie The Wraith, which I believe was that Charlie Sheen? And that's about a guy that gets killed, and in this Arizona town, and he comes back as a ghost, as like a Dodge Viper, not a Viper. It was a car. Wow, I sound like an idiot more than normal. He comes back as a car, and the car like kills everybody that killed him. And then he comes back, and then like, yeah, it's kind of like a ghost vengeance car movie. Now, one of the other movies. Does anybody remember the movie The Car? Does anybody remember that movie? Oh wait, it was made for TV. It was about a car that was possessed and killed things. The Big Black Lincoln. Yep. Yep. That's what it is. And what's funny is there's a YouTube video out there where someone compared that movie to Jaws. Like, it's the same structure, the same like elements as Jaws, except instead of a fish, it's a car. And like, he does a side-by-side comparison. It's actually kind of funny. Dodge Interceptor, yeah. Yeah, the car. That was... That's a wicked... That was a wicked car, man. That was a wicked movie. Spoof on Christine. I like Christine. I like that movie. Satan was driving the car. Yeah. Dang Satan out there driving over people. But guys, this video's gone on long enough. We're done. We're done. Thanks for watching. James, thanks for offering me to pay for dinner over there at the Petro in Effingham. I'm going to stick around here and watch my life flash before my eyes. And Roscoe, I'll keep this up for a minute. You got 10 minutes. See ya.